In the beginning, the characters, boy and girl who are siblings, met the first character, Hood, in the sewage drain of an old mill, who told them to leave because they knew that boy and girl would be back for them. We navigate through the mill, the old mill, the forest, the trains junction, the cinema, and the warehouse while avoiding the first monster, the Sniffer. Now, of course, the Sniffer hunts the kids down, but specifically Hood. And why is that? Because there could be a possibility that the Sniffer and Hood are connected somehow. I know there were people that were saying that Hood could have been sexually abused because of the scene with the ice cream truck and being lured into it by the Sniffer. But we also still have to keep in mind that the animals and children are linked together. So we possibly don't know if that is true for sure. But there is definitely a lot of symbolism in this chapter and the connection with the Sniffer. And it could be possible that the Sniffer is a mirror of Hood's past. And here is my thought and my analysis on this part, because the Sniffer is described and act monstrous from Hood's own past experiences he went through. Now, let's sum this real quick of my opinion on who Hood was, what did Hood go through. So, we know that Hood was an orphan. I think Hood was always sticking his nose somewhere he shouldn't have. Kind of similar to the Sniffer. Just like the Sniffer who has taken bodies and skinning them and going through another person's body, like fitting in the skin of others, we can understand that Hood possibly couldn't fit in anywhere since they was an orphan, of course. We could probably think that Hood was surviving by doing what they had to do, which is the way of an animal, of course. I'm not sure if Hood is a girl or a boy, because Hood does sound like a girl, but of course males can have a voice such as Hood. Hood wanted to be respected as the orphan he was and fit in socially. That's what I think. Because of course the Sniffer, the outfit it wears and taking what doesn't belong to it is screaming kind of like a corruption of greed. And losing their innocence, Hood's childhood was taken away, which is very similar to the scene of the ice cream truck where Hood was taking, and the ice cream truck symbolizes, if you guys don't know this, but this is actually true, but ice cream truck symbolizes childhood innocence that is being taken away. And it seemed like that Hood wanted to have that back badly, but of course, possibly his defilement sink them lower and lower, losing their sense of direction and control, and which is related to the trail derailments in the junction that we go through and encounter. We even run into a pig head in the city where Hood was taken. And of course, pig heads represents greed and hidden identity. And that could possibly tell us that Hood wanted to hide away from his greed. He wanted to escape from his own reality. And that's where the cinema comes into place, because cinemas is think of as a way to escape from reality and into an illusion. But of course, wanting to escape from reality, having that purity taken away, it caught up to Hood, and they were locked away for having that greed, in which we saw that in the game where the Sniffer locked Hood away. That is what I saw and what I collected from this chapter. And I possibly believe that the Sniffer is a mirror of Hood's troubled past. That also explains why girl and boy found them the way where they were at. We see Hood's own past in the form of a monster that they have to survive from. So tell me what you think about this analysis, my possible opinion about Hood. And just leave it in the comments. Give me some feedback on what you think about this.